But to get into the seminar, so this month's seminar is talking about 8 tips to improve your local SEO performance. This is stemmed from an article that we actually did because we sponsor Yorkshire Powerhouse. There you go, Stuart, some free advertising there. And an article that I myself wrote and published for that, and we'll actually be presenting this. This is like a run through really for when we're talking at Yorkshire Powerhouse. So 8 tips to improve your local SEO, but we always find that with a lot of local businesses in this room and individuals that you don't have big SEO budgets. So how can you maximize your online presence? Especially as the gentleman says, you're setting up a web development company, you'll be working with local small businesses, a lot of business coaches here that'll be working with businesses, and there are a lot of people here, so quite a good target. So we'll get straight into it, and the first one is optimize Google My Business. Now everybody know what this is. If you get your phones out and you type in a company name, if they don't have a Google My Business profile, Google isn't liking you very much, because without an actual profile you can't take benefits from some of the key elements, which is like putting your details on, your location on, your website information, links to your website, your trading hours, your contact information like your phone number. You can have reviews on there, but also you can put a specific headline about your company. So if you actually Google Bobble Digital, let's say Bobble Digital, strategic digital agency, because it's who we are and it's what we do. So you can, if it's at Bidnamic, I'd expect it to say Bidnamic Google Shopping Experts or Google Shopping, agency in Leeds. That's how you would use your Google My Profile. You can upload videos and images for there that people to find you, which all localizes everything what you do in terms of how to do it. So you can also optimize your map location. So once you set up your profile, you put in your address, you send it off to Google. Google gives you a postcard with a code. You type that code in to verify that you are actually at that location. So on maps, your actual business location will appear. So sometimes when you see on Google Maps, when you're looking for a business, you see the Starbucks, you see all the local places and businesses, they only appear because they've set up a Google My Business profile. So if you're a local business and you're working in a local area like Leeds or a particular city, set your profile up first. It's very simple to do. Just type in Google My Business into Google and set your profile up. Very straightforward. The second one is manage customer reviews. I can't stress this element quite enough, because Google has their own review platform, Google Reviews. You can also integrate other elements like Trustpilot within there. And the best thing about that is the higher the view rating, the more likely you are to appear, especially in map results in terms of ranking and rating. We do quite well. We have a 4.8 star rating. One person gave us a 3-star review who we've never met with, so you've got to be careful in terms of, people giving you negative reviews. I knew it. I knew it, Nick. I knew it. I was looking at him in the corner, he's smirking. So you get out of 5 stars, but the other thing I'm going to do is to improve your presence is respond to every review. If it's a negative review, apologize if you have done something wrong, or just say, or clarify it, or as you would do if you're doing like a social media campaign. If you see a negative post, respond to it, because it shows that you are an actual business, you do care about the reviews, but it improves your engagement. But also obviously thank people for leaving like a 5-star or a high review and show your wealth, and get your customers and your clients and people you interact with to review you on Google, because it improves it. And when you're then doing like campaigns across Google Shopping or PPC, you can actually add that 5-star rating to your campaign, or show your actual rating as part of it, which again improves your actual ad performance later on. So a very important aspect of local SEO. Make sure your site is mobile friendly. I can't stress this one more than enough. Just this quarter, I've met with a lot of businesses and gentlemen who are setting up a web agency will realize if you want to rank on Google, you have to have a mobile first website. If your website isn't optimized from a mobile perspective, Google is not going to like you. And that's because the majority of searches are now done on our mobile phones through Google Chrome, through Safari. Whether you've got an iPhone or Android, a lot of those searches are done through mobile. It's the first point of contact. So when someone goes on your website to get some information based on what they're searching, If your website isn't mobile optimized, they're going to have a bad user experience. So Google then changed their update back in 2018. So websites that aren't mobile responsive or mobile first now get impacted negatively in terms of organic ranking. So if you're a local business, make sure your website is mobile optimized. If you need any advice on that, speak to some of the gentlemen in the room who's a web developer, or come ask us at the end. But make sure all your content and images are optimized for mobile, because you can upload larger image files and videos on your desktop, but if a lot of people are visiting your traffic, you've got all of your traffic is going to your mobile, you need to resize those images and reformat those images in your content and compress them so that they're fast loading and for mobile. And speaking of speed, you need to make sure your site is really, really fast. A slow website, Google doesn't like. There's actually a link here at the bottom. If you just type in Google speed test in Google, or go to that link, I'll share the presentation out with everyone at the end so they can actually see this, or they can go to Yorkshire Powerhouse and type in SEO and they see the content there already live. You can go in there and actually put your website in and see how fast it's performing, not just from a desktop point of view, but a mobile point of view. And what we tend to find is a lot of local businesses, their actual mobile speed is very, very, very poor. And that's a bad sign, because if your desktop's performing better than your mobile and Google wants you to be mobile first, then that means your website's not going to rank better than Google sees a better fast loading site. So all that page site link does is it tells you what the issues are that's causing your site to load slowly, whether it's images, it's the amount of content, it's the background, what is on there, and you can optimize it from that. So a really, really, really good free tool. And we say always use this one opposed to anyone's, because it's Google that ranks you. So use Google Speed tool to understand what's working and what's not working. And add local business schema. So have you ever, and we put a good example, have you ever searched for a film time and then on Google and you see the film times come up automatically? That is essentially what schema does. It's basically structured markup and information that's based on your site with a little bit of code that allows you to put out certain services and businesses. So if you're a local business that, sells light bulbs, or security cameras or products, etc., you can put your particular services and products on there if you want. It's similar with like McDonald's, they have their saver menu on there, you can see what burgers they have, etc. If you're a local businesses doing local services and local products, you want to make sure you have schema on your site, because when someone Googles it for locally, let's say they're looking for a local, samosa shop in Leeds, maybe, let's use that as an example, my house is going to turn up and you're going to have a full breakdown of the different samosas that we do. So yeah, that's the benefit of it. It's a very, very effective tool for targeting local businesses. So if you're only focusing in the local area, I know we have Keith who does that. There's a couple of people that do print and design. So you probably want to take advantage of this to show the different type of print products and services that you're offering from a local point of view. Citations. So citations essentially is your company information on your site and making it visible. A lot of companies do this at the bottom, at the footer of the site, so your address, phone number, etc. is displayed, but you also need to get that on directories as well. So this comes into part of link building. So like Bobble Digital, we have our address on there. We're on the Yorkshire Powerhouse directory list, for example, so that's another source where things on yell.com, etc. and other websites where, local business listings online, our website is based on there. So you kind of want to get that place in there, because then what Google does is it keeps matching up all the citations that you have, and it kind of builds your online authority locally. So it says like this place is there, it's referencing the number of locations, but it's one of the beginner elements of SEO that we say you need to have. You'll go into a website and sometimes it's very hard to get the contact information. They don't just leave an email address or a phone number, leave your address, because if you've got a Google My Business profile set up, you want to make sure it links through to your website and that Google can find you and assign that citation to your profile effectively. So if you haven't done that already, and if you've got more than one location, so if you're, let's say, a law firm and you've got one in Leeds and you've got one in Bradford, make sure you separate them out clearly and separately on your website, because then you can focus on localize those same keywords and citations for someone searching in Bradford or someone searching in Leeds, so separate any multiple locations that you have. The seventh tip seems a bit obvious, but make sure your site is localized. The best way to do this is localized content. So what do we mean by localized content? We give a bit of an example here. So how Leeds digital marketing agencies will benefit from Channel 4's relocation, not how digital marketing agencies. So adding in some localized keywords can have a big impact. So if we do an article where we launched last year, we did a big press release about us winning an international client. It was Bobble Digital, Leeds-based agency wins international interface client. So that's the title of the product. So when someone's searching for Leeds-based agency, you know, if that actually links back to our website and you have that article on your site, then you're more likely to rank for stuff. So it's quite competitive in our environment because there's around about 200 plus agencies in the Leeds region alone. But, you know, we do rank for certain terms like strategic digital agency in Leeds, you know, PPC agency Leeds, SEO agency in Leeds. We do rank in the first 2 pages for that. And that's all around us doing stuff like Bobble Bitesize in Leeds and sharing that information across our social platforms, on our website and content. And we actually use localized words and keywords and location words. So quite a useful outlet, but make sure all your name and contact information is on your site as well. And then finally, create content. Without content, people aren't going to be able to find answers to questions that they have. And that's what Google's really becoming. People are searching for answers. They're typing in questions. So there's no point for us as digital marketeer to discuss public relations. So focus on content that you guys specialize in. So I wouldn't expect Bidnamic to be talking about SEO or social media if they're a Google shopping specialist company. If you want to rank for Google shopping, then you need to be talking about all the different elements of Google shopping on your site to show that you are the experts when they type in Google shopping agency in Leeds, or Google shopping agency near me, or Google shopping specialist, etc. That's the kind of stuff we want to do. And so we focus on the content that we do. So when you come to Bobble Bitesize, we will not talk about anything else beyond the core services, digital services that we offer, and that's why we mix it up each month. But there's so much to talk about within SEO. This is just an overview of the top tips to improve your local SEO. There's so much more to SEO that you can do, which we'll introduce in other talks later on down in the coming months, of how you can take that to the next level. So if you are writing content, localize that content, but focus on your niches where you can show that you're the expert, so that when people are searching for those particular keywords in the region, that you actually come up as that, position 0 within Google. Right, and the benefit of that is it improves your online authority and your ranking on Google. So the more quality content you have, well structured, the better it is. So yeah, that is a quick summary of our 8 tips for local SEO. Does anyone have any questions on anything that I said? I'm guessing if I don't.
Worth optimizing a website then for mobile or desktop, do you think? I think it's more significant.
Mobile, because Google changed their algorithm. So if your website isn't optimized towards mobile, you're never going to rank on page 1. You're never going to get that opportunity. It's as simple as that. If you're not a mobile first site or have a mobile optimized site, you're never going to rank in that definitely on page 1 at all, not even on the bottom spot at all. You will have to pay for your position through PPC. So if you're going to build a site, think mobile first, but do create a desktop site, because if you provide specific services like Dom from Brook Consult, you need to have a bit more information on there. Some people will search from their laptop, so you've got to cater for both, but realize that most of the searches, the first initial touch point is done from mobile. And that's how they're going to remember you. And then when they go onto your site, you can do other tactics like retargeting. So then once they've gone to your website and they've been looked at certain information, you can then start capturing through other channels. Any other questions? Yeah.
I know sometimes websites will rank and they don't appear to be very well optimized. I'm just wondering what you take on that.
What do you mean, like when they rank and not well optimized?
Like you'll search a keyword and then you click on the page, and sometimes it won't appear to have the headers or the so.
I would find that kind of, I've never seen that myself. I've never seen a site that's number 1 where the actual content is instructed. I haven't considered the headers, the meta description, the schema. There's no duplication tags on site and structured content, because Google, the way it crawls different pages, it cuts out different snippets, and now you see rich snippets come on. So that first position is, you see the drop down where you have your question and there's a response from a site. That's position 0. So that tends to be the most valuable spot for SEO, but I've never seen that. But I'd be surprised if someone hasn't optimized a page and it's ranking on number 1, because Google would not rank that once it's crawled it, unless they're gaming the system somehow. But I wouldn't know how, but do then show me that website. So we can learn from it, but it'd be very, very hard for someone to not have the fundamentals in place and get number 1 spot. It takes, months and months of link building, authority building, structured content, and answering the question based on what people are searching.